Welcome to Car Sales Talk 101, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is. Here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Car Sales Talk 101. I'm Terry Cameron. Thanks for hanging out again with me this week. I want to talk to you guys this week about structure. But before I do, I want to remind you to hop on over to Apple Podcast, give me a rating, write a review, and at the end of the episode, the lady's going to give you my email address. So send me any questions that you'd like me to answer or to touch on, or if you have any particular questions you'd like to talk to me about or things you'd like to hear on any future episodes, just shoot me that email, and I'll be more than happy to see what I can do to meet your wants and needs. So again, this week I want to talk about structure. And I've talked to a lot of people in the car business, and I found out there's so many different ways that a car business can run. Well, I guess not just a car business, any business. You can have them with structure, some without structure, or some with just a little bit of structure. I've seen it, and I've talked to people that worked in all three of those environments. And I can tell you by far the most successful salespeople, the most successful managers, and the most successful dealership that were the ones that had structure, and it was enforced. So let's talk about what I mean by structure and how important it is. First things first, the most highly trained company in the entire world is the U.S. military. And there's a reason for that. They stick to their guns, no pun intended, but they stick to their guns, and they know exactly what has to be done to accomplish a mission, and they stay inside those guidelines. There's no G.I. Joe out there winging it. They have rules to follow. They have a way that they have to do certain things, because if they don't, they die. And so other people could die also. So it's real important that they're trained to follow rules and stay within guidelines. And those guidelines are very, very broad. Let's talk about the ones that we deal with on a daily basis at the car dealership. First things first, the structure is important. If you don't have guidelines, if you don't have structure, you just have chaos. And you're going to have so many people on your team, management, salespeople, whoever it might be, doing their own thing, and that always causes problems. Let's take, for example, the salesperson, or for that matter, the sales manager, finance manager, that shows up late. I don't care if it's a minute late for the meeting or 30 minutes late. And it doesn't matter if it's every once in a while. If they show up late, and we allow that to happen, and then you have the other people that are there, and they're there, and they never show up late, how is it fair to them that they have to be there on time and the other ones don't? I start my meetings every morning at 8:30 on the dot. So I look at my phone, and as soon as it says 8:30, that's when we start. If somebody comes in at 8:31, they're late. They missed the first 60 seconds of the meeting. And just listening to a podcast, at least sometimes, that first 60 seconds sets the context for the rest of the podcast. And if you miss it, you kind of get a little bit lost. And when that person that comes in late says, man, it's only 1 minute, it's only 2 minutes, the other people say, yeah, we know how long it's been because we had to wait for you. It's not fair that we have to be here on time and wait for you before we can get started. So yeah, 1-2 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, if you allow that to happen as a manager, especially, if you allow that to happen, and I don't care if it's your 10-car salesperson or your 20-car salesperson, the rules are the rules. You're letting structure start to erode. There's also structure on how we work a car deal. If you have a dealership that has multiple sales desks or managers or sales towers or several managers in the same sales tower, each and every one of them should have to work your deal the exact same way. If you start a deal with one person and they're gone the next day, you need to be able to go to the next person, the next manager, and have your deal picked up right where it was left off and worked exactly the same way. When we lose structure there, I can guarantee you, I can promise you, we start losing gross and we start losing deals. There's a reason why we have a process. There's a reason why the military has a process, and that's to be successful. So you have to have structure in the deal. And let me go back to that other big bad word that a lot of us don't like to hear and use, and that's accountability. If you don't hold your people accountable, the top salesperson to the bottom salesperson, to these basic rules, policies, and structure, you're going to start losing it. What about collecting information prior to working a deal? Do some of your salespeople have to scan a VIN and the other ones don't have to go out and scan the VIN of their trade-in? Do some of your people have to put in their application into the CRM to speed things up and make things a little bit easier for the desk so they can concentrate on selling cars and growth for everyone? Or do some of them not do it? I mean, everybody has to do it the same way. And as soon as you allow people to go outside those lines, outside that structure, you have just blurred the lines, and I promise you, things are only going to get worse. And here's where it really gets bad. If you're successful right now, if you're doing really good, some of us like to pat ourselves on the back a lot thinking, wow, without me or with me, this is what we would be doing. And I know what's going on right now in the market. Sometimes it's just the market. The market is so good. Supply is low, demand is high, and you have people knocking at the door waiting for that next car to show up. So don't pat yourself on the back and think that you are the one that's keeping the business going and growing it, even though you may be. But when you start allowing people to work outside the process, to come in late, to leave early, to call in sick the day after their day off on a regular basis, it's just going to get worse. And even if you stay successful, you're not going to go much further. I forget who said it. God darn it. But he said, even if you're on the right track, if you don't get moving, you're going to get run over. So you got to keep moving, but you got to keep within the structure. And if we're going to change the structure, that's fine. But it's the structure. It's not a temporary thing. Hey, guys, this is the way we're going to do this from now on because I think it's going to work better. And you know what? If it works better, great. Just hold everybody accountable to that standard. If it doesn't work better, well, now let's back up a little bit and at least we gave it a shot. Things really get crazy without structure. They really do get crazy without structure. You need it. You need structure in everything you do at work, at home, whatever you may do. There's a process to follow. Again, let's go back to the military. If they don't teach you how to clean that weapon with your eyes closed and be able to shoot straight every single time, what are your chances of being successful? And not only that, who can count on you? At the dealership, as a manager, I know exactly who I can count on to perform. And I don't mean meet their goals. I mean meet their obligations to the team, to the dealership. I know who I can count on. I have 4, maybe 5 salespeople that I can count on. The rest of them, I really can't. They don't follow the rules. They get babied. Everything's okay because we know what we get from them. That's right. We get an 8 or 10 car salesperson and we're satisfied with that. I hate hearing that. Well, at least you know what you got. Yeah, I got an underperformer. I got somebody that's below average. But if I hold them accountable, I don't baby them, and I show them that I'm going to hold everybody on my team accountable and I don't baby them, no favorites, just do your job. And if you do it the right way, stay within the guidelines and inside this structure, you're going to be more successful and I'm going to be more willing to help you out than the person that's not doing it. So again, if you're that salesperson that sells 20 cars a month, okay, let's change it. If you're that salesperson that averages 14, 15 cars a month, you still have to be at work on time. You still have to follow the rules just like everybody else. If you're that finance manager that comes in 15, 20 minutes late every single day, wow, you're going to try to tell people what to do and you're going to try to hold people accountable and you can't do it? God forbid if you're the sales manager or the general sales manager and you show up late for work on a regular basis. Again, there's no structure in what you do. It's not going to pass on down to your salespeople. There's not going to be a structure there. And when they fail, we're going to blame them. Let's get a grip on this stuff. Follow the process. Hold everybody accountable. If there's a certain way to do things, then everybody does it that way. If there's not a certain way, then maybe we need to think about how we can build something into our process right now for everybody to follow. That's easier for them. That's fair, but firm. And just see how far we can go. Structure is way, way too important. And like I said earlier, if you don't have good structure and you don't hold people accountable, you have chaos. And if you sit back and watch it, you'll watch the edges start to blur and fade. and eventually you got the wild, wild west on your showroom floor. Hold them accountable, hold yourself accountable, and let's see how far you can go, because we all know the sky's the limit. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please rate it and write a review on Apple Podcast. We appreciate your valuable feedback. You can email Terry at 10minutesalestalk@hot.rr.com. And don't forget to share the show with a friend.